Hello, and welcome to Section 3 of Unit 6 of International Procurement. Today, we'll be looking at wire transfers, bill of exchange, and telegraphic payments. So, by the end of this section, you should be able to explain how wire transfers are done, describe bill of exchange and their merits, and explain the process of making telegraphic payments. So wire transfers. It is a card holder initiated transaction using a credit or a debit card to effect payment through an electronic fund transfer. Again, exporters should provide clear routine instructions to the importer when using this method. Every one of us here uses um, a, a debit card or a credit card. At the yes, in a at the larger extremes or in the extremes for credit cards. But for debit cards, it's something that almost every one of you in this class has some. So a wire transfer mostly is when a card holder initiates this transaction using the debit cards or the credit card to effect payment through an electronic fund transfer. So, for example, by including the name and address of the receiving bank, the bank's SWIFT, telex, and RTN numbers, and the seller's name and address, bank account title, and account number are all captured in the ATM or in the transactional process. So we say that that's the wire transfer. So the option is usually more costly to the importer than other options of cash in advance methods. So this is because the fee of an international wire transfer is usually paid by the sender. As we already know, for example, with a wire transfer like Western Union, you see that the fees are always or most of the time paid by the sender, the one sending in the money or the one sending in the the item in question pays for the transactions or pays for the fees of the transaction. So in some cases, or the charges of the transaction, sorry. So in some cases, you don't need to have a bank account to send money online or receive same. Yeah, that's true. There are a whole lot of um, apps and sites that payments can now be made without even a bank account. So this is the most secure and preferred cash in advance method. An international wire transfer is commonly used and has the advantage of being almost immediate. So we look at some advantages and disadvantages of a wire transfer. So for advantages, it's very convenient. That's true. It is fast. I mean, it's a global service. You can be in Ghana and send money to someone in Australia, and it is safe. I mean, under no circumstance have we heard that someone sent money to someone and he or she didn't receive it. Even if these things happen, there are always ways to, I mean, curb these risks associated with such. So disadvantages. Once the money has been sent, it, the reversibility of it is a little difficult. So there's non-reversibility or non-reversible, and then attract for scammers here. That's true. People have always tried to break in the systems to, I mean, take people's monies and what have you. So the processing fees are also high. So that's the charges involved, and then the processing fee involved in having a wire transfer from for an import. So let's look at the bill of exchange and what it is. A bill of exchange or draft is a written order by the drawer to the drawee to pay money to the payee. Example, check. So basically, the drawer and the drawee to pay money. So the person who is withdrawing the money will just, the person who sent in the money will just give a written order that, the person taking the money, yes, that's the drawee, the person withdrawing the money. Um, the drawee to pay money to the payee, example, check. So basically, it's like a written document that issues that, okay, give this money to this person when he comes. So basically, if you remember, for the bill of exchange, it always gives documentations for people to make exchange of goods and then the monetary aspect of it. So I mean, it's a document that would you would show in a letter of credit. We mentioned that you will show these documents and then payments can be made to you. So it is an unconditional order in writing, addressed by one person to another, signed by the person giving it, requiring the person to whom it is addressed to pay on demand or at fixed or determinable future times a sum certain in money to order or to a bearer. So basically, it is an order or it is a written order or an unconditional order in writing form where you tell that, okay, if this happens, give this amount of money to this person. If goods are delivered at this time, give this, money to that person. So prior to the advent of paper currency, bill of exchange were a common means of exchange. Yeah, so before paper currency came in, bill of exchange was, a common means of exchange. So a bill of exchange requires in its inception three parties. So the person who draws the bill is called a drawer. So the person who writes is called a drawer. He gives the order to pay money to a third party. So the third party upon whom the bill is drawn is called the drawee. So the money should be paid to this person, that's a drawee. And then the party upon whom the bill is drawn is called the drawee. So he's the person to whom the bill is addressed, yes. So not payment made, is the person that the bill is addressed to and who is ordered to pay. So I write the letter, I'm a drawer, and I order, let's say, party A to make payment to party C. So the party A may be the drawee or is the drawee, and then he becomes an acceptor when he indicates his willingness to pay the bill. The party in whose favor the bill is drawn or is payable is called the payee. So basically, these are the three parties involved. So you draw the bill, you give it to a drawee or a party, and then that indicating or detailing that that party should give it to the PE or a different person. Then we come to some advantages of a bill of exchange. So fixation of terms and conditions. So the bill of exchange has an advantage of fixation of terms and conditions. Again, a creditor has the power to sue on the bill itself. So a creditor has that chance of suing. So if you are not satisfied with whatever condition in there, it is a legal document which is evidence of debt. That's also true. So it's a legal document that you can actually say that this person I've paid money to this person and hence that person owes me. So it can be taken on that person can be taken on the law courts. It affords an ease by means of transmitting money from one place to the other. That's also, the ease with which you send money or the ease with which you move money from one place to another is also an advantage of that. Then the bill of exchange, as part of its disadvantages, are mainly used for short-term services. You can't use it for longer term or longer period services. The discount allowed in a bill of exchange is also like an additional cost. So for the discount, we say is also like an additional cost. So the discount that comes into play or the charges that comes has some form of additional cost. The drawee is liable to pay the bill the bills in times as the date of payment is fixed. So the drawee are always taxed to pay in time, on the fixated dates of um, the bill of exchange. So we look at telegraphic payment. A telegraphic payment is an electronic message initiated by one financial institution directing another financial institution to make payment on its behalf. So it's basically like EcoBank telling Zenith Bank to make some payments on EcoBank's behalf. The payment is routed to the beneficiary financial institution using intermediary financial institutions. So, and a message platform. So basically, we are saying that one such platform is known as the SWIFT, the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. So in in the rural banking sector or sector in Ghana, it is the Apex Bank that does some of these transactions on behalf of the various rural banks. So that's a telegraphic form of payment. So telegraphic payment, the receiving bank knows the message or instruction are authentic. The beneficiary financial institution will credit the funds to the beneficiary account and yes, account dependent upon the accuracy of payment details. So the telegraphic transfers are one of the quickest and most secure methods of executing payment abroad. So it is basically some form of um, executing payments abroad. So you may not be, I mean, your financial institution may not have a branch in that location, and hence, and a different financial institution can make payments on your financial institution's behalf. That's what we term as telegraphic payments. There are some advantages to it. So very simple when transferring funds. So it is one of the safest and secure method of transferring funds since it is done across banks or it is done across financial institutions. The service charge attached to the telegraphic transfer is very, I mean, nominal sometimes, and then it is one of the quickest mode of transferring funds. So it's the safest and secure and also the quickest mode of transferring funds. When we come to it, is the it is then we come to some disadvantages. We are saying it is a time-consuming process. I mean, since there's no cost involved, it will take your time. Again, because of its nature, I mean, it attracts for scammers. It attracts for people to be duping people in the entire process. The processing can take even longer due to different time zones. Yes, and that one is true. You can send messages in the morning and then you in your home country and it will be received in evening in a different country. So in this section, you have learned about how wire transfers are done, bill of exchange, and their merits and as well as their demerits, and then the process of making telegraphic payment. Thank you and see you some other time.